Hey there, guys. So a lot of cool stuff coming out now with the speaking to chatbot stuff. Like this stuff is it's a race, right? Like Google comes out with speak to the LLMs, and then OpenAI comes out with it, and then Facebook comes out with it. Facebook's always kind of one of the last ones to come out with it because I think they want to integrate it into their platform. But we're starting to see it. All this stuff you can talk with all these different LLMs now. The Gemini, all that good stuff. Now I want to show you this. We're going to go back over to this Google Notebook LM before, which we've played with in the past. And Google LLM Notebook is very cool in that you can throw in information to it and it will actually speak with you about it. It'll create a podcast. You notice I've thrown in my songbooks. I've done some different stuff. Had some, a friend of mine give me his stuff from his business, and we went ahead and had it create a podcast just off the FAQ page. I've thrown in Dungeons and Dragons stuff in here, and you can actually have a conversation with the Notebook LLM regarding your information. But now what they have done is they have added along to the already very cool podcast function the ability to interject yourself into the podcast. So you hit pause and actually communicate with it via voice. Okay, so we're going to look at what that is and what that isn't. This is really kind of a beta thing that they're throwing in here, so it's not really production ready, but it's very cool. And again, it shows where we're heading with all this stuff. I mean, guys, this stuff is going so fast. Okay, like I'll write a tutorial on one thing one day, and then I've had times where literally the same day the next thing comes out and you're like, oh my goodness. So it's very exciting times. Let's take a look at Notebook LLM, chatting with your podcast stuff, and let's get on with it. But before we do that, do like and share. We're growing, and that's exciting because the more people that get involved, the more people we have to work with. And the more innovation is taking place, and the more it becomes a market that they want to be giving us the stuff to play with. And AI is an excellent hobby, and I think all of us would agree with that. So very cool stuff. Thank you for being supportive in all of those. So with no more further ado, let's move forward with taking a look at Google Notebook LLM. Go. All right, so let's click on over to our browser, and here's all you got to do to find it. All you got to do to find it is go Google LLM, okay? And it's going to bring up this thing that says Notebook LLM Google. If you can't find it by typing in Google LLM, type Google LLM Notebook, okay? And you just grab it. Now, you can sign in for free. I'm already signed in. Just click on this Try Notebook LLM thing here, and LLM stands, of course, for language model. And you could just use your Google account. Now, as I said, I have a bunch of different stuff here. The interesting thing about this, what we're going to do is it doesn't work with all of your pre-made podcasts. So essentially what you want to do is create a new podcast by clicking on this Create New, and then just upload something. So upload a PDF. It could be anything, okay? You can go over here to paste text, and you can just paste a bunch of text in here. So say you've got a bunch of poems, copy all your poems, throw it in there, and this podcasting thing, it's amazing. It'll actually read it, and it'll make a fairly cohesive and insightful. It's actually rather insightful podcast about your stuff, which is what I did with my lyric book. So once you have those made, it'll come up into here and it creates this deep dive conversation. Okay, so I'm not going to really go too much into how to do that. It's just you click it, you create it, and here. Well, hell, let's show you. Let me upload something here just so you can see. So let me go here and let me find a document. Yeah, I'm gonna throw in something that doesn't matter. I'm gonna throw in a contract I had for selling dogs, okay? And then all you do is you just click this generate button. That's all you got to do, okay? And it'll actually generate the conversation, okay? So once you're done doing that, and we're not gonna bother with this one, okay? But let's go back over here. Once you're done, it'll show up here on all of this. And just click one, and bring it up. So now I will say that not all of them will bring up the option we need. So like here, let's go reflections on songbook. I'm going to click load and it'll take a minute. I don't believe this one's going to work because there should be a button here that says beta. Now, I don't know how it chooses which ones to talk about, which ones not. So let's grab this invention of the light bulb. That's a shorter one. Let's let it load up. Okay, now notice it's not giving me the option on here. So I'm going to go try another one. It might only be doing it every other one. I'm not really certain how it's deciding which ones will work and which ones don't. Okay. Oh, no, that wasn't one here. Let's find one here really quickly. There we go. So look at this one brought up this interactive mode beta. So this one is about AI. I didn't label it well, but it's about AI and some upcoming stuff. But this one is giving me this interactive mode. Again, I don't know why some of them do and some of them don't. So you're just going to have to play with it. But let's click on this button, and it's going to load up the thing. And then now watch. If I press play, it's going to talk. But then I'm going to have this join button so that I can join into the conversation. So let's go ahead and listen to it.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're diving into some really cool AI stuff today.
Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff actually.
We've got like our oh wait, someone wants to join. Hey, go for it.
I just want to say I agree. This AI stuff is off the chart, and I can't wait to dive in deep to what's going on with it. Happy to be here with you.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. I'm so glad you're excited to dig in with it.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you
go,
here. It's
Susan.
great to know you're as into this as we are.
Okay, so we were just saying that this stuff is mind-blowing, right? And by the way, all of this comes from Diffusion Digest. So if you're into this stuff, you should go subscribe
By
to
the
their
way,
newsletter.
you should check out.
They always manage to
Diffusion
find the
Digest.
most
Very
interesting
good
AI
podcast.
developments.
They really do. It's
Or
like they have
not
a sixth
podcast.
sense
He
for
puts
this
out a
stuff.
list.
Okay, so I have
fact,
to
let me
say,
say-
go for it.
I can't speak up Diffusion Digest enough. That guy really puts out a fantastic product. Really researches into all of the AI stuff that's coming out every day, honestly, and he compiles it at the end of the week. It has been really a treasure, like a treasure trove for me.
It's fantastic to hear you appreciate Diffusion Digest so much.
Yeah, it sounds like you're as much of a fan as we are.
It's true that he has a real knack for finding the most relevant info.
And he packages it
Okay,
up so
so
well.
as
It's
you can
really
see,
a great resource.
you're
Okay,
able
so
to
where
just
were we?
join
Oh yeah, the
in
AI radio
directly
takeover
into
in
the
Poland.
conversation.
Yeah, apparently this radio station, Off Radio Krakow, decided to fire all their human DJs and replace them with AI.
It's wild, right? It's a pretty bold move and a bit unsettling for a lot of people.
Yeah, like all, yeah, uh-huh.
I'm curious as to why you think it would be unsettling.
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, let's unpack this. I think a lot of it comes down to what we expect from our radio hosts.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is that it touches on a lot of deep-seated feelings about creativity and human connection.
Right, like when you listen to the radio, it's not just about the music or the news. You kind of feel like you know the DJ.
Exactly. You get a sense of their personality, their opinions, and their vibe. Oh, go for it.
So do you think that if we had AI DJs on there and they had human personalities that people could connect with, is that a good thing? Or are you more worried about kind of the metaphysical concept of that people are connecting with something that isn't real?
That's a really interesting question, and it gets to the heart of what makes this whole AI DJ thing so complex.
Yeah, it raises an important question about what we value in our relationships with media personalities.
Okay, so if AI DJs had these really compelling human-like personalities that we could connect with, would that be enough? I think that's what you're asking.
Exactly. It's like, could we have genuine parasocial relationships with AI?
It's a little weird to think about it. Oh yeah, go on.
So that's not even exactly what I was saying. Let's do a thought experiment where we have an AI DJ that we actually can connect with and we can empathize with and connect with as a person. Is that something that kind of on another level we should be concerned about? Is that a bad thing, or is human connection itself, even if it's just one-sided, like in a mirror almost, is is that enough?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a really insightful way to put it. So it's not just about the lack of a real human, but more about the quality of the connection itself.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is that you're bringing up the idea of connection as something valuable, even if it's with something artificial. It really challenges our assumptions.
Right. It's like if the AI DJ can evoke genuine empathy and connection, even if it's one-sided, does it matter that it's not a real person?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises an important question about our own need for connection. It's kind of like asking, is a reflection enough or do we need another person?
Yeah, it's almost like
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
And, you know, it's an interesting conversation, but then it also begs to answer, is this the kind of, like, we could sit all day and talk about this and say, like, well, shoulds and oughts and nots. But at the end of the day, a even bigger picture, is this something that we should even bother trying to regulate? Like, do we really have the ability to say that we might think your empathetic connection with AI is not genuine and so not good, and maybe let's even say maybe it's not, but do we have the ability or the right to say people that we should actually squash that and create some kind of regulation or pushback on it so that you cannot do that? I mean, having an opinion about something is one thing, but really putting your feet on the ground and forcing others to that opinion is entirely other thing. That was kind of a lot. Let's see how it responds. So it's taking a while because it's parsing.
wow, okay, that's a really important point
Look
you're
how
bringing up.
fast
It's
that
one
went.
thing to discuss the ethics and implications, but is it something we should even try to control?
What's fascinating here is that you're hitting on the idea of personal autonomy versus societal good. Do we have the right to limit how people connect?
Yeah, it's like even if we think that connection with AI is somehow less real, is it our place to stop people from forming those relationships?
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really raises an important question about the limits of regulation. Where does personal choice end, and where does the need for societal intervention begin?
I think it's some. Oh yeah, let's hear it.
And that's a great point, because I would tend to say, like, leave it in the hands of a business and let the market sort it out, so that if people are connecting with this AI DJ, let's say, but the over time they find out it's a actual AI and they feel duped, let's say, I would assume that then that business would lose business, whereas the ones that are known to be genuine would then increase in their business, or vice versa. But again, it seems to be something that as most things should be brought down to the community. Okay, I didn't get that part. Let's see what it says.
That's a really interesting perspective, and it brings up a good point about market forces, the idea that businesses that are transparent and authentic might win out in that.
Yeah, it's almost like you're saying that the market will naturally regulate itself when it comes to AI personalities. If listeners don't like the AI, they'll go elsewhere.
Exactly.
forbid.
What's fascinating here is you're bringing in the idea of consumer choice as a form of regulation. It really shifts the conversation from a top down to a bottom up approach.
Right. It's like instead of government stepping in, the listeners themselves decide what's acceptable and what's not.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises an important question about the power of the market in shaping ethical practices. Can consumer preferences be a sufficient form of control?
Okay, and now let's
It's a
see if I
fascinating
can get
idea,
it to
and it
move
makes you think
forward in
about the whole
conversation
concept
here.
of
So I'm gonna see if we
authenticity.
can get to the next
Is
part.
it more?
Hey, yeah, what's up?
You guys' insight is so insightful, and I really appreciate it. Let's move on this conversation, though. I'm excited to hear about the next piece from Diffusion Digest.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, we're glad you're finding the discussion
Let's see
interesting.
if it can pick up where
We
it
could
left
definitely
off.
talk about all the shoulds and oughts all day, but you're right.
It's time to pivot, and there's so much more cool stuff to get into.
Okay, so we've been talking about the radio station and its AI DJs.
Yeah, and the whole idea of whether AI can replace humans in creative roles.
that's pretty good. I'm going to see if
But
it
there's also
grabs
this
it and
other story about
moves
a
on.
robot named Ida, and it's pretty wild.
There
Oh
you
yeah,
go.
this
So it
robot
actually
painted a
moved on in the
portrait of
conversation.
Alan Turing that sold for over $1 million.
Right.
Okay, so that's incredible. So what it did there is it went ahead and we completely stopped the conversation. We took it off on a complete side trail, but it somehow bookmarked the conversation, which means behind there it must have taken that conversation, broken it into dictionary chunks or whatever, bookmarks, and then it marked where we were at, it let it go off, and then it just came back and iterated to the next one. So that's really cool technology. I can tell you what I've enjoyed about working with this is again, the ability to diverge. Okay, I'm a divergent thinker, and I thought wants to go here and wants to go there, and while I understand that this is an AI, I spend a lot of time in my own head bouncing my own ideas back and forth, kind of like in a racquetball court or something like that. And what this does is it actually allows that feeling of you're speaking with another person and able to flesh out some of these ideas, even if it is a bit of an echo chamber, well, or a complete echo chamber, I suppose. Even if it is an echo chamber, your brain, your mind is an echo chamber. So to me, this really is kind of a cool technology for fleshing out thought, fleshing out ideas. And I guarantee, I know that in here, there are ways that you can prompt this differently. So when we're actually creating our podcast, we can put in there different contexts. So we can say, give a critical eye to this. Be wary of people that want to make it seem too good. Be conciliatory, but don't give away the thing. Whatever, So you could actually prompt kind of the way that the conversation is going, so that you could still work out the conversation you want to have. Now, I do want to point out, if you notice over here, there's no real way to put this all together. So we can download our overview. Okay, the one that we are listening to, the one that we loaded, but it doesn't seem to be a way that we can actually, as of yet, save the interjection. Okay, so in other words, we threw in the diffusion digest into this, right? And it went ahead, it recorded it, it saved it, it played it back for us, and then we went in there, added all that other stuff, but I don't think there's a way to compile it all back together and save it down yet, okay? Because this is still a beta. But as you can see, this is really cool technology. You can start with this today just by going to your Google Notebook LLM, logging in. Again, I use this all the time. Over here I have my LinkedIn page. I actually made a resume podcast just as a supplement to my resume.
Of looking at a resume and
right.
So that should be good. What is it?
He's rocking not one but TWO.
There you go.
Unrelated
right? So
gigs.
You
at
can
the
do
same
all sorts
time,
of stuff
CDL.
with this. Okay, the same thing we did with the diffusion digest, which again you should go check out. Very cool stuff. But great technology, and then you can sit there and banter with it. How cool is that? All right, we're gonna leave it there. Enjoy it. If there's something about this that you think is really cool, let me know. I obviously am not the fount of all wisdom and knowledge, so if there's stuff I overlooked, hey, hit me up in the comments and let me know about it, and let's explore it together, because it is way exciting. So we're going to leave on that note, and we will catch you on the other side. Yo!